Hello everybody, today we are going to be looking at passive sentences. So, there we go. What are passive sentences useful for? Basically, we use them because they allow us to change the order of the sentence, shifting or moving the focus or the attention from the agent, the being, meaning the person or the things that does the action, that carries out the action, to the object, the being, meaning the person or the thing that receives the action. And how do we form a passive sentence? So we already know the basic rules. They are in fact quite similar in Spanish, and they are very simple. First, we have to invert the elements in the order of the sentence. So the direct object becomes the subject. And then we have to use the verb to be as a kind of auxiliary, and then we turn the main verb into the past participle. And optionally, the subject of the active sentence can be eliminated, or otherwise we can add it at the end, introduced by the preposition by. This is quite simple, and we are probably familiar with this type of structure, but we've been learning new verb tenses, new structures, and it will be quite useful to have a look at how to turn them into their respective passive forms. So, let's start having a quick review of the easiest one, which are the simple tenses. So for present and past participle, here we have two examples. Hollywood produces thousands of films, and C. Smith directed the film. How do we turn it into passive sentences? Basically, we just have to use the verb to be in the correct tense. So for the past present simple, we use the present simple, and for the past simple, the past simple. And then we ask the main verb goes in the past participle. Films are produced by Hollywood, or the film was directed by S. Smith. Okay? Let's go. Now, here we have this couple of questions. So let's please answer them. You can pause the video if you need to. And when you are ready, we can continue. Now, let's have a look at how to turn the rest of tenses into their respective passive forms. It's useful to remember, as I've mentioned sometimes, that for the rest of tenses, these verbs, these auxiliary verbs, or the verbs that we use to modify the main verb, always go in the same order. So we are going to first find modals, then to have, then to be when it's used to make continuous tenses, and then to be when it's used to form passive sentence. And let's also remind that the previous word, or more specifically the previous verb in these complex verbal tenses, is the one that gives you the form of the verb that is going next, the verb that is following. So after modals, we have base form. After to have, we have the past participle. After to be, if we are doing if we are talking about continuous tenses, we have an ing form. And after to be, if we are talking about passive sentences, we have a past participle. Now, bearing in mind these two ideas, or taking into account these two ideas, we can use three simple steps to turn every possible verb tense into a passive sentence. So first, it's better to start by the end. So the main verb goes in the past participle. In this case, colonized. Okay. Before the main verb, we introduce to be. Okay. So here we go. It's before the main verb, and finally, to be is going to take the form required by the previous verb form. So we have could here, which is a modal verb. Therefore, be goes in the base form. And now, let's start looking at some examples. In this video, what I would like you to do is I want to ask you to please pause the video, try to turn these two examples into passive sentences, and then we move on. Let's do this with a few pairs of examples. So let's start with the future simple and modal verbs because they work in grammatically in exactly the same way. Here are the examples. Patty Ming will write the script and S. Ken may play the starring role. Please pause the video, turn them into passive sentences, and when you're ready, let's see how they change. So here we have the examples in the passive sentence. The script will be written by Patty Ming and the story role may be played by S. Ken. So we can see the main verb, written and play, they have been turned into, well, they are in the past participle. Then we stick be right before, we stick the verb to be right before, and since we have modal verbs here, the be goes in its base form. Let's go, let's have a look at another example. Perfect modals and future perfect function exactly in the same way. Here we have the example. The film may have lost money in the box office. So please pause the video, try to turn this into a passive sentence, and then let's continue. Money may have been lost in the box office by the film. Here we have the order of all these auxiliary verbs: modal, then have, then to be. And if we apply the three rules, we have this past participle, then we stick be before, and since we have right before to be, the be also has to go into the past participle. Let's continue. Now, continuous tenses. The cameras are shooting the film right now, or the cameras were shooting the film yesterday. Now, please pause the video, turn these two sentences into passive sentences, and then let's continue. Let's go. The film is being shot right now, and the film was being shot yesterday. Okay? Shot is the past participle, then we had be right before. Since we have the verb to be in used to make a past continuous tenses, we add ing, and the only difference, like is, has got nothing before it, so then we just have to conjugate it to like use it as if it was a simple tenses, like in a present simple or past simple. Okay, is and was. That's the difference. We have the present and the past, so is and was. That's it. And finally, here we have a couple of perfect tenses in the present perfect and in the past. The director has already decided the cast, and the director had already decided the cast when the film was cancelled. Please pause the video, and when you're ready, let's continue. Let's go. The cast has already been decided, or the cast had already been decided when the film was cancelled. As you can see, we can apply the same rules here. And now let's have a look at a couple of questions. Please pause the video for as long as you need to, and when you're ready, we can continue. Before we finish, we are going to introduce this structure called the causative. This is an structure that is quite common in English. It's used either for quite colloquial uses, for like mostly in conversation, or otherwise is used in kind of formal writing. Okay, let's see what's the use for this causative. Basically, it's a construction that underlines or highlights the idea that something is being done for someone else by someone else or by something else. Okay, someone is doing something for someone, and we want to point out that's important. And how do we form a causative sentence? So it's a very simple structure, and it's always the same. We have the subject, then the verb that can go in any tense, like present simple, past simple, present continuous, future perfect, anything. Then we add have or get. Get is more informal, have more formal, and then the object, and we close with the past participle. Here we have a few examples. My mom is getting her car fixed tomorrow. Okay, that means that tomorrow she's going to go to a garage and someone is going to fix her car. So my mom is getting her car fixed tomorrow. Mark has his homework checked by a private teacher. Okay? Or we got our drinks served already. Okay? I hope you get the gist of this structure. Anyway, we are going to, of course, do some exercises to practice. Before we finish, please pause the video for as long as you need to answer these questions. And that's all. I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you very much.